Welcome to episode 88 of the Woolly Thistle podcast, coming to you from the gorgeous state of New Hampshire. Today is Friday, December 14th, and I'm your host, Corinne. This episode is sponsored by thewoollythistle.com. The Woolly Thistle brings the best of British and European yarns to us here in North America. Are you filling out your wish lists and sharing them with your loved ones? Be sure to do so and get what you want for the holidays. The Woolly Thistle now offers you the ability to start your own wish list even without having an account in the shop, and then you can email or text it to those who need a little help getting you just what you want. Or print it out and leave it next to their coffee. They'll get the hint. Right now, we have all the books and magazines a knitter could want as the nights draw in. Millarochi Heeds by Kate Davies, Wildwood by Marie Wallen, Vintage Shetland Project by Susan Crawford, Shetland Wool Week 2018, as well as 2017, Making Magazine, and just added to the shop, Mittens of Latvia, and many, many more great books. Let the Woolly Thistle do the international shipping, so you don't have to. Thank you to new and returning listeners. It's great to be back with you. It has been a month since I recorded because last time it was right around Thanksgiving, followed by our big sale, which was the Small Business Saturday sale. We also had snowstorms, snow days, power outages, and what felt like a bajillion orders to fill in the cold and dark. But we did it somehow. But the casualty of the whole event was the podcast. I just couldn't get to put my head in gear and think about recording. So I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I wonder, does that all seem like a distant memory now in your rearview mirror as we go careening towards the big holiday season? I'm a little scared. I feel like I will be throwing Christmas at the kids a little bit, but that's okay. I think all of us feel that way, and it all works out just fine in the end. But I am hoping to spend some quality time with my family over the holidays, and I hope that you get the opportunity to do that with your family too, and that we all get lots of knitting in. So let's get started, shall we? This episode includes Off the Needles, On the Needles, Up Next, KAL News, a Woolly Thistle update, and then we'll wrap it up. So off the needles, I don't think I have anything actually off the needles since we last spoke. I have lots of whips though, so let's talk about them. On the needles, I have my Ado shawl or Ito shawl, I'm not quite sure how to say it, designed by Melody Hoffman, and this shawl is the subject of our shawl KAL, the Ito shawl KAL, which started back on November 1st and goes through to December 27th. And of course, we're knitting it in Plotulopi. This design was featured in Laine magazine in issue 4. And we're changing shades of Plotulopi from one section of the shawl to the next. I think I've messed my shawl up in terms of not doing it exactly like the pattern calls for, but I like how it's coming out and it's okay. I'm definitely screwing up here and there on the lace section, but it wouldn't be mine if I didn't screw it up. Lace is my weakest area of knitting, I have to admit, although I have gotten stronger over time, and I definitely need those stitch markers for every repeat because I just too easily go off track. It's crazy. And it's only with lace. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I have been blending in my changing colors, and we're split splicing to do that. I've been blending mine more in a much heavier handed way than just a few stitches here and a few stitches there. But I do think it's coming out okay, and I quite like the effect. But I have set the Ido shawl aside for now as I started something new and very exciting. You might remember a few weeks back around Thanksgiving, I posted a picture on Instagram of a black and grey cardigan that was colorwork in the sort of, is it a Norwegian star motif? I'm not sure what you call it. And I first found this cardigan on, let me see, Blackbird and Goose on Instagram. And I think I found that feed through Camabornia's feed. I think they might know each other. Anyway, there was a picture of her wearing this cardigan and I thought she must have knitted it. But it turns out she actually got it from a shop online called NY Gardzana. And I'll put that in the show notes. And it was about $250. Now, I don't mind spending lots of money on yarn to knit my own stuff, but for some reason I didn't want to spend money like that on a ready-to-wear garment, which is crazy. I'm sure it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of knitting and good wool and all of that. But anyway, I put a call out on Instagram to see if anybody could help me find this type of pattern on Ravelry, because I'd come up with nothing that really matched it. And lots of you, it was so great, lots of you got in touch with me and had really good suggestions. And I would have gone with one of them. A lot of them were really quite good, but none of them were exactly like this particular cardigan. And then out of the blue, I got an email from Donna Kay, who is a New Hampshire-based designer. She goes by Tree of Life Knitter on Instagram. And she offered to design that pattern for me. I was blown away. Of course, I said, yes, please, if you're happy to do it. And she was. And she asked me for a few measurements over that Thanksgiving holiday week, which I gave her. And she created a beautiful, succinct pattern with a chart. And I've been knitting on it ever since. As much time as I get knitting anyway, I've been able to work on it. So I have one sleeve almost finished. The motif is exactly like that in the picture. And in the knitting of the pattern, it will show me what it comes out like. Because obviously I don't have photos and test knits and things like that to see, but I very much trust Donna's abilities and I'm really excited to see. So yeah, I started off as I do by knitting a sleeve, and it's going to be set in sleeves. No shaping in the body, just sort of a boxy, short-waisted, I think, cardigan with a round neck. Anyway, so yes, I've managed to get gauge and I really love how it's knitting up. And I'm knitting it with Jamieson and Smith 2-ply, which is my desert island yarn. I will always knit with that given my druthers. So long as I can have as many colors as I want, I think I'll always want to have that. You know, you could bury me with some of that at the end of the day and I'd be quite happy. It'd be warm. Anyway, Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight in colors 27 and 81. And I had a leftover cone from a project before, so a cone in 27. So I'm using that. And I'm using a ball of 18, and I can definitely feel and see the difference in the yarn. When you buy Jamieson and Smith yarn on the cone, it's still in the grease, which makes it good for machine knitting and other applications, weaving, I think too. But it's just as good for knitting. It's just that it feels a wee bit ropey and it's not bloomed at all. So I keep a looser gauge, a looser hand on it. And I know that when I block it, which I'm going to do with this sleeve to make sure we're all good to go. When you block it, the grease will come off easily enough and then it'll bloom and it'll match the yarn that I'm knitting from the ball in look and feel. So yes, I'm very grateful. I think Donna's kindness and generosity for doing that was just amazing and I really, really appreciate it. And I'll be putting a photo of my sleeve up on Instagram, probably as the header for this episode. So I'm in love with it. I'm looking forward to starting on my second sleeve. And then we start the body, I think, bottom up. I can't remember right now, but it's going to be an adventure. Up next, here I'm going to talk about what I'm fantasizing about, as I tend to do that. And guess what? I feel my sock and mitten mojo coming back after such a long time knitting sweaters. And I should really count up all the sweaters I've knit over the last year or so. I'm now feeling the pull of Colorwork socks and mittens. Socks in particular by Remembrance Pottery, who is Natalie from Canada. She makes those gorgeous mugs that we all love, and I have one. It's right here next to me on my desk. I see it every day. She's also an ace sock designer. She designed their Brigitte's garden socks, which reminds me the motif is similar to the end of May mittens that I knit my mum one year. It's the similar motif. It's a nice big flower, but she's put them on socks and it looks really, really good. But what really has caught my eye and my imagination is her midnight snow socks, which have yet to be released, but she did post a picture on her Instagram and I urge you to go have a look. They are amazing. It's a full picture in stranded colorwork on socks and it's just gorgeous. So I think I'll be casting them on as soon as they're released, and I'm going to have fun deciding what yarn to cast them on with. So that's the socks, but also the mittens, the mitten knitting. I mean, it's all around us all the time now, which is fantastic. And of course, my Colorwork Mitten KAL will be happening again next year. My thoughts are starting to turn to thinking about planning for that. This is my oldest KAL. I think we've done it 3 years now, but I'm not actually sure. Maybe it's only 2. But anyway, it's the KAL that started all my KALs, and it's one that is really fun. Everybody who takes part in it really enjoys it. And what's so nice is people come back year after year. And it's one that I plan to participate in fully, and we'll have lots of prizes. We'll get designers on board, and yeah, we'll make it as fun as we can make it. It will be good. So yeah, I've been thinking a lot about mittens, and of course, Diana Walla, who on Ravelry is Paper Tiger, just came out with her design, her collection of Harry Potter mittens. So inspired. I think it's lion, badger, snake and eagle. I've said that in the wrong order. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful mittens knitted in tuku fingering. Yeah, so there's those. But you know what? It's the oldies that always get me going. Erica Hoosier's underwing mitts. They're not full mittens, they're mitts, so they're fingerless mittens. You know, those have been on my radar for a long time, and lots of you have knitted them already. They are just beautiful, and I think it is that curiosity cabinet quality that they have. And in fact, watching Katie Greenbean's podcast recently, she has knitted 2 pairs of them, and they're beautiful. They're just so lovely. And of course, the Gentle Knitter has hers as well. I think these are mittens that I aspire to knit for sure. So I don't know, maybe they'll be part of my KAL entry. I don't know, but I think I will be knitting them. And also I have got maybe 3 sweaters on the go right now, 2 of which are in timeout, but I know I'll come back to them to finish them. I'm not doing any holiday knitting, no Christmas gift knitting, nothing like that this year. So I don't know, maybe I'm just feeling the need to do some smaller projects. I am loving the colour work though. The colour work is really such a great way to knit, and you end up with such a really fun and interesting finished object that, yeah, I'm colour work mad right now. I want to talk about my Foula Snood, which I am wearing constantly. It's so cold here that this is the perfect knit, and I'm so glad I made it. This is an infinity scarf in Colorwork, 2 colours, knitted in Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight in 27, which is grey, and 01A, which is a creamish white, and designed by Donna Smith up there in Shetland. And the pattern was in Shetland Wool Week 2018, which many of you have. So I loved it the minute I saw it. And yeah, maybe this was part of me needing a quick cast on. I cast it on and became pretty monogamous on that, and finished it recently, and I've been wearing it ever since. It is perfect for putting around your neck twice and being really bundled up and warm. I wear it like that all the time, but it's also really nice just to let it hang in one single strand around. I haven't blocked it because I was too impatient, and now I'm wearing it all the time. I think that's okay. I'll get to blocking it in the spring probably before I put it away. The only problem I had with this pattern was at the very end. You cast on a provisional cast on, and then you knit, and then at the end, you're supposed to Kitchener the two sides together. I got in a right fankle with that. At first, I thought I was going to try and Kitchener it in two colours, and I don't know if that's even possible. I really don't. I quickly decided it was not. And then because it's stranded Colorwork and I had live stitches and I somehow didn't have them on a needle, I don't really know. I can't remember what I did, but I got in a bit of a mess. Things were unravelling and not looking good, and my snood was getting a wee bit shorter, row by row. So I quickly put that all back on the needle, and I had my two ends on needles, and I decided to do a 3-needle bind off. I just thought that was easier than messing around with a Kitchener. Calling it a design feature. On one side, I did the 3-needle bind off on the inside. And then on the second side, which had to be the outside, I did the 3-needle bind off on the outside, which actually gives you this really lovely raised, almost like an I-cord. So depending on how I'm feeling, I'll wear the outside out and the inside in, or if I'm feeling more subdued and subtle, I'll wear the outside of it with the 3-needle bind off tucked inside so nobody can see it. But it's all academic because anyway, this is the first layer that goes around my neck, and then when you put the second layer round, it's all hidden anyway. Long story to say, I screwed up at the end. I got impatient as well, and I'm okay with that. It looks really, really good. I really, really love this. It's actually a really practical knit as well that looks good. It's something that I'm wearing an awful lot. I'm very happy with how it turned out. It was a lovely knit. The colour work was repetitive enough that you did know where you were and that you kind of intuited what the next stitch should be, but it wasn't a huge chart, so it was easy enough to follow along. And you're knitting it, I want to say, on a US 2. Is that like a 3mm? I think that's it. So it wasn't tiny knitting at all, but the gauge when you're finished is really nice, and I think it's just a lovely piece to your wardrobe. So highly recommend that. And in that vein, I've decided that I am putting kits together. They'll probably be in the shop by the time you hear this, where you will get a copy of Shetland Wool Week 2018 and 8 balls of Jamieson and Smith 2-ply, which is what you need for this project, as well as a Woolly Thistle pin, and all of that will be discounted so that you get a bit of a savings than if you were buying it all individually. So look for that in the shop. I'm really happy with that, and I hope that you plan on knitting it too. So yeah, let's talk about KALs that are happening. We've got the Ito shawl KAL happening right now, and everybody's knitting along just beautifully. Lots of lovely chatter in the Ravelry group, helping each other out. I've needed help on this too because I didn't quite understand part of the instructions, but I think it was just my reading of them. The chart shows some color work happening, whereas the written instructions did not show that happening at the same place, and that caused me confusion. And what do I do when I'm confused? Well, I do what I want, and I went off and did my own thing, and I'm okay with that. But there's been good discussion in the group, and everybody is loving knitting with the Plotulopi. I think there's a few Plotulopi converts happening right in there. I was quite nervous about knitting the lace with the Plotulopi, which, if you don't know, is an unspun Icelandic wool, and so it's very delicate. If you yank on it or if you get it caught in something while you're knitting, it's going to break. But as soon as you knit those stitches together, nothing is going to break the strength of that fabric. So it's very strong once knitted, but knitting it, you have to be a bit more thoughtful about how your tension is working and how you're pulling it off the ball or the plate or what have you. And yeah, so knitting lace with it, I was kind of like, I don't know, but it's actually coming out really, really nice. I have screwed this shawl up left, right, back and front, up and down. I'm just remembering as I'm talking to you that the first lace section I did as instructed, yay me. The second lace section, I forgot to purl back on the back rows, so I knitted back. So now I have a lace section that's all garter lace. That's fine, it looks really nice, it's okay. Then the third lace section, I think I started on the back side and I might have purled back on the off-rows. So now it's completely opposite from the first section. I think that's when I put it down, when I realized I'd screwed it up yet another way. Oh, and of course, I am messing up the lace as well inside that, but I'm very forgiving of my lace work. It doesn't look, I don't know what it looks like. I was going to say it doesn't look bad. We'll see. It might, but it's okay. And I'm okay with it. And actually, once you're wearing it and it's scrunched up around your neck and all lovely and warm, nobody's going to be picking apart that stitch you were off in your lace section. So we've got to keep it real. The KAL is moving along just beautifully. We have until December 29th to finish it. I'm really enjoying popping in and seeing who's chatting and who's moving along and enjoying the knit, and all the Plotulopi converts, and of course Maggie, who is my right hand girl here in the shop. She is keeping things ticking along for me, which is just wonderful. That's Nesting Mag, who is an avid knitter and very much into the Woolly Thistle and our KAL. So I appreciate all the help she gives me with that. And then so just keep on knitting. And like I said before, I am starting to think about the Mitten KAL. So just put that in your back burner so that you can remember that that is coming up, and please join us when that starts happening. But yeah, as far as the Ido Shawl KAL, hashtag Ido Shawl KAL in Instagram so that we can see your progress there too. And keep on knitting. I think it's time now for a Woolly Thistle update. The Woolly Thistle's doing great, and as always, I really, really do appreciate you shopping with me and telling your friends about the shop, as well as sharing it on Instagram when your orders arrive. And this all helps me grow the shop and offer you more. And for that, I am humbly grateful and thank you. I know that you love what the Woolly Thistle has in stock, and I'm working really hard to keep that happening. And like I mentioned earlier, the shop had a huge sale on November 24th. And you all showed up and did your bit to help the Woolly Thistle stay in business and grow. So thank you so much for that. It was a wonderful day. It was very fun to see your orders coming in. And the sale pretty much cleaned me out of quite a few different things. So I'm still restocking, but hopefully by the time you hear this, I will have gotten there. But if I don't have something in stock, you know to click on the email me button in that product page, and you will get an email as soon as it goes back in stock. Okay, so I did want to mention the shop wish list, which is easy to create. There's little love hearts next to every product in the shop. And if you want to create a wish list, you just click on that button and your wish list will have started. And then you can add to it. You don't need an account to create or share the wish list, and you can share it electronically with whoever you want to, that you would like to receive gifts from the Woolly Thistle. Or you can just print it out and give it to them the old-fashioned way. I have an apology, a very heartfelt apology to send out to you from my last episode. I was made aware by a lovely listener who was kind enough to let me know how I might have conveyed some stereotypes in my last episode, namely that all women are knitters and we all have husbands who don't have a clue. And it was so insensitive of me to be so lazy using that language, not those exact words, but that kind of language. My own family is diverse, and I'm much more cognizant than I portrayed in that episode. So please accept my apologies for being a lazy, insensitive woman with a microphone, and know that I am much more inclusive than I sounded there. And I am deeply sorry if I made anybody feel excluded or stereotyped. So moving on, let's talk about gift certificates. My gift certificates of old were pretty stodgy and not very functional. So I have updated the gift certificates in the shop, and they have been revamped. You can choose your own design. You can send to the recipient directly now, so you can put their email address in and it goes to them. Whereas in the old-fashioned way, it had to go to you, and then you would have to forward it to your recipient. So that's crazy. Now you can just type in who you want that gift certificate to go to, and it will go via email to them directly. You can send it on a specific date. You can set the time on that, and they never expire. So If a gift certificate is a good way for you to give or receive, that is also an option, and people are taking advantage of them, so thank you, and I hope you enjoy that feature in the shop. The Kirk's Crufts and Bothies did really well. I put them up in the shop finally, actually on that sale day, and many of you purchased them. I just have a few wee Kirks left and maybe 2 Crofts with yellow roofs. They're really pretty. But keep your eyes peeled because I think I'll have more of them coming. And coming soon, very exciting news, is Marie Wallen's British Breeds yarn and her limited edition yarn gift box, which includes yarn, 1 ball of each of the colours, 4 patterns for accessories, and the yarn, provided you get gauge, the yarn is good for all those patterns, as well as her calico drawstring bag. So it's the same gift box set that she was selling during the launch, and she has kindly agreed to let me sell them here during the launch of this yarn. So yes, keep your ears peeled, keep your eyes on Instagram. I will be talking more about these when they get here. Very excited. And of course, this all goes with her book, Wild Wood, which is doing really well and which features her British Breeds yarn. Just replenished, Little Grey Sheep Hampshire DK yarn is back in stock. I have all the colours I had before, plus a couple of new ones and a couple of exclusive ones. One called Creeping Thistle and one called Take Me Home. And I will be featuring them soon. Those are not in the shop yet, but they will be. Maybe by the time you hear this, they'll be in the shop. But thank you to Emma who dyed up those 2 colours just for the Woolly Thistle. How nice is that? So you will have an exclusive colourway if you go with that. Her yarn is so bouncy and floofy and just gorgeous, so lots of knitting to be done with that. Letlopi and Plotulopi is in great supply. I placed a huge order right after our sale, and those all came in very quickly, and I'm now fully stocked, so you should be able to get all the colours you want for any projects you need. Tuku Fingering is in good supply with a little bit more coming. And of course, Diana Waller's collection of mittens, Lion, Badger, Eagle and Snake. I think that's the right order. Just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Such a great collection. Knitted in Tuku Fingering. 2 colours. Each pattern just takes 1 skein of each. So 100 grams total, if that. And just a gorgeous knit. So yeah, get your yarn here for that. More Tuku Sock is coming and will probably be in by the time you hear this. More Jamieson and Smith is coming and probably in. More Blacker is coming. I really am low on my Blacker, so I will be getting lots more of that in. And I'm working on getting more smaller producers back in stock and up and good. So, Uist Wool and Woolly Mammoth and things like that. All the good stuff. The Foula Snood kits are available and include a copy of Shetland Wool Week Annual 2018, 8 balls of Jamieson and Smith that you need to complete the Foula Snood, which is by Donna Smith, and a Woolly Thistle pin, and that kit provides you 10% off the items purchased individually. So it's a great deal and a great knit, and I love mine. The Agatha sock kits have done really, really well, and there's only a couple left, I think, because I'm almost out of the zipper pouch bags that go with them. They're not coming back anytime soon, so if you want an Agatha sock kit, which is the only way to get that pouch bag anyway, then quickly hop on over and snap that up. There's still plenty of yarn left in the West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply ranges, though, in lots of solid colours, which is perfect for Agatha. But also I have their Country Birds and Cocktail lines in as well. The Vintage Shetland project by Susan Crawford. Still got lots of those in stock, and I do see them being purchased, I think, as gifts for Christmas, which is just a lovely Christmas gift to get. This book is amazing. Did you see Diana Waller? Wow, this is the show about Diana Waller. Did you see Diana's YouTube video yet, where she gives a really wonderful book review on this book? If you haven't, I'll put the link in the show notes. Just phenomenal. And did you see Jen Steinglass's latest design on her needles on Instagram? She's using Einrum yarn, which is Icelandic lopi, with a strand of Thai silk. It's fingering weight, it's ethereal, it's so fluffy yet sophisticated. It's light and woolly with added drape and glow, and I just love this yarn. I knitted my Magnolia sweater from it, which is a pattern out of Laine 4. Line of 4 is still my favourite issue, by the way. But anyway, I love Ain Rum yarn, and Jennifer Steingass, who is Knit Love Wool or knit.love.wool on Instagram, is knitting a beautiful yoke pattern for it. Knits About Winter by Emily Foden. We're still waiting for our stock to come in. I'm trying to be patient and a good doobie, but as soon as that's in stock, I'll put them in the shop. Or as soon as I get them, I'll put them in the shop. So if you are wanting to get your copy from me, make sure you click on that email me button in the product page in the shop. And that way you will get the email as soon as it goes in the shop. And then you can hop over and get your copy. Kate Davis's new book, Milwaukee Heats, is doing fantastic. I ordered lots of them and I still have a good supply. All our books have been replenished as well. So I've got the full Kate Davis library on my shelves and it feels so good. Yeah, so we got Handy Women, Yokes, Colours of Shetland, her Buchel book. What else? Inspired by Isla, really. It's Isla. All her books are here. Her little Happet book, which is full of shawls. Good stuff. Yeah, Haps, Book of Haps. She is so prolific. And of course, she's just come out with her next club, which I'm planning on signing up for. The limited one is already filled up, but I think I'm going to sign up for the less limited one because she does no wrong. She is my hero. Okay, and then what else do we have in the shop? Tuku's in good supply right now with more coming. Rauma got cleaned out, so I'm still waiting on my big replenishment as I record this, but I hope by the time you hear this, we are fully stacked with our Rauma Finnegarn, Strickgarn, and Gammelserie, which was used in Camabornia's Trondheim Mittens, and I'll have more of that too. Talking to Camabornia, the Woolly Thistle now is a very proud sponsor of their podcast. You will see the Woolly Thistle show up at the end of their beautiful, beautiful podcast. They stand out head and shoulders above everybody because of their beautiful photography and their beautiful images that they managed to create on video. Just wonderful. I've loved them from day one. And I finally asked them if I could sponsor or be a sponsor on their show, and they were completely happy to let me do that. In fact, I'm their first international sponsor. Who'd have thunk it? So there you go. I'm very excited to be working with them in that way. And yeah, if you've not checked out Camabornia, where have you been? You need to go check them out. They're wonderful. Pia and Dennis are lovely, lovely people. Lopi, as I said, Plotulopi and Letlopi are in great supply. I got a huge order in of that. Ullcentrum from Sweden is gorgeous and lovely and doing well. Check it out. Camabornia, again, she designed her Visby mittens in Ullcentrum, and so it's a very reasonably priced yarn and great for colorwork or cables because it's a light worsted weight and it's a 3-ply, so it's a lovely round yarn that will make cables pop, and it's soft. It's lovely. Mondum and Brusca will be replenished maybe by the time you hear this, but maybe not, but it'll be on its way. That's Retrosaria, of course. And Pom Pom, issue 27's in and selling well, and I still have back issues of 26. Woo! I think that's all I have for updates in the shop, except to say about kits. Silver Forest Kits, which is Jennifer Steingass's Silver Forest that I knitted myself out of Jamieson and Smith Shetland Supreme. I have yarn to make kits for those. It's a beautiful kit. However, 2009 is still out of stock. 2009 is one of the colours that we need for the kit. It's still out of stock at Jamieson and Smith, and it's a natural shade. All of the shades in the Shetland Supreme line are natural, non-dyed. And so I think it takes a little bit longer to get enough of a clip in of a particular shade because they're not tweaking it with dye. They have to actually get enough wool in. So we're going to patiently wait for that to happen because this kit is worth it. It's such a beautiful design. I really love wearing my sweater. It's very comfortable and enjoyable to wear. So those kits will be back as soon as the sheep grow the wool, which I kind of like, right? You know, we just have to be patient with nature, and that's good. Scalloway Tam Kits by Marie Wallen and Jamieson Spindrift. Those are almost out. I only have 2 or 3 left. Peary Fleurs by Kay Davies. I think they might be almost out. 1 or 2 left, but I'll get more of those coming in. Ola Sweater by Ella Gordon, that's back in stock. The Fair Isle Kip Kit is back in stock. The Larsdatter kit by Lovely Kristen, who is Scandi Work, that's back in stock. The Cruden Vest is in stock, and the Agatha Socks, I think there's just a couple left, so that might well be done by the time you hear this. I'll have to reinvent it. It's been such a lovely resurgence of that pattern through the kit. Thank you very much if you bought one, because that pattern is very special to me, and it's just been lovely to see it being knitted up again. So I think I'm going to call it there. I think that I've told you all my news. I hope to be back with you in a couple of weeks, which will be right before New Year's Eve, which is Hogmanay, where I come from. And maybe I will have a wee glass of something sparkly while I talk to you next time. So have a wonderful holiday season. I'll see you on the other side of that, but before the new year. Just have a wonderful time. Hug those that are close to you. And if you go out, take your knitting. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to New Hampshire Knits. You can find the Ravelry group at NH Knits. You can find me on Ravelry as NHK Claire, on Instagram NH_knits, and you can email me at nhknits001@gmail.com. And you can find the Woolly Thistle all over the internet at the Woolly Thistle with 2 L's in Woolly.